What is going on, my peeps and man versatiles? Back with another video, back here to talk about my gear update, my CINE RIG update, some gear essentials that you guys may want to look into when you're thinking about building out your kit for videography, photography, cinematography, whatever it may be. Now, I will have all the links to the gear in the description box below, and I will also probably do separate videos on these individual gear pieces to do more in-depth detail and looks into each separate piece of gear. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about is this new light I got. Yes, and also I'm gonna give you guys a great scope real quick of what my area looks like that I'm gonna be working with to kind of show you guys how I'm gonna build this kit out. And as you guys can see, my table here in front of me is pretty lavish right now. But again, one of the things you might see in the other view, which is actually from my Galaxy Z Flip currently, is I have a Godox SL60W. Yes, it's a brand new light that I have. It's been out for some time, but as I've already noticed, the light gives me so much better fall off. It's softer. I have it like super close to me. It's like right outside the frame, and yet it gives me the look that I want for my videos here, and it gives me a look that I can use when I'm traveling for studio shoots. When I'm on set, I have a light that I can take with me, and I will have a new light stand for it too. And I believe if it's not from each shot, it's from somewhere else, but it's basically like a folding wheel light stand. And I also have a Godox bag to carry all my essentials in. So now I have me a new bag right here. This is the Godox CB05, I believe, and it's a nice simple bag. It allows me to carry all my essentials in it in terms of light stands, lights, and whatnot in that bag, and my reflector as well. So outside of the lighting, to talk about that, as you guys notice, I've been able to get this area back here a lot darker because of how I've been able to situate the light. I do have a grid honeycomb on it, so that way it directs the light on me, and even in terms of shadows behind me, the light falls off so nice, and it covers enough range where it eliminates a lot of shadows against this wall here. You might see a little bit from my arm as I wave it, but because I can kind of keep myself controlled here, not a lot of shadow on the wall. Yes, I will get my Iron Man painting back up here soon enough. So now I can take advantage of that light right here for bokeh and background blur, and my light right here will stand out more as a nice little color fill in the background. I hope to get a second SLW so that way I can actually have light spill off on the side right here. That's something I'm looking forward to. And then of course, whenever I move out of this apartment, I will have an actual studio where I won't be next to a wall. I'll have more space and really be able to design the studio look that I'm looking for. But this actually works for me for now. The SLW does have a slight fan noise, but you really don't hear it. I hear a lot of creators or other photographers, videographers make that a point of reference. To me, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. My mic is a little bit closer to it since I'm using my A61 to record this, my A6100 to record this, and the video micro on it. You might be able to hear a little bit. Let's see. Keep in mind, I do have the AC running too, so if you hear any noise, it's either the AC running or this. If you don't hear anything, that means one, this mic is doing a great job of picking up no noise. Right, I don't have a high pass filter on or anything, and this fan really isn't that loud. Now I will get maybe ever so slightly louder just because of how hot it can get. It does interpret temperature in Celsius, and right now I barely am using like maybe 25 to 30% light, and I'm still like a third of a stop low in terms of my light, but I like that look because it gives me contrast on this side of my face and everything. So that's one of the first pieces that I want to talk about, was my light and how I've been able to change my look for this studio right here. Now, before we get into the actual gear and accessories that you can also use to improve your shooting experience, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that way you never miss my videos. Then we can sit back, relax, and see what's cracking. And comment down below some ideas that you may have as you watch this video of other pieces of gear or things to keep in mind, tips and tricks when it comes to building out a gear kit or rig or photo shoot, anything like that. Now, let's get into the video. First thing we're gonna talk about is this baby right here. Yes, the A7III. I like to call this the master cage because I do feel like whether or not either camera got it. I feel like this camera cage right here for the A7 III feels a little bit more heavy duty. It's got a newer color and it has this red pop for like an accent for the Small Rig logo. Now, granted, the cage that I was using was the A7S III cage. Now, it does feel a little bit lighter. I think it's considered like a lighter cage or a light cage. This cage does feel a little bit more heavy duty than I'm about to show you guys right now. But this is the A7S III, and although it did work for the most part, having a cage that is more or less exactly what I need for my camera gave me even more security, and it felt even more comfortable in terms of building a compact rig out. So goodbye Sony a7S III cage. If anybody wants this, since I don't have the a7S III right now, one day maybe, hit me up in my email. It's in the description box, and I could get this to you most likely. I think it runs for like $89, so we can work out some if you guys are interested in this a7S III cage. The cage I have on my a7S III, of course, this is what it looks like. So as you guys can see there, and I already have it equipped on the camera. It's actually not that hard, but because I had left it on, I just said, hey, you know what, why not? And as you guys can see, the color is very, very nice. It's very subtle. It's an olive color. So this pretty much does a good job of letting you know what it looks like. In the box, it literally is just like the cage, and that's it. So shout out to Small Rig for making such a cool cage. I would love to work with you guys in the future, of course, so keep that in mind if you guys are watching that as well. Now, the next piece of gear, the most simplest piece of gear that you can look at buying for your cameras is a camera cap. Yes, I bought this. I think it's called E-mount, but it's like $6 on Amazon, and it's double-sided. So basically, you get a camera cap and you get a lens cap for the rear end of your lens. So take for instance this little baby power zoom lens I have right here. It comes with this end of the cap as well. So you effectively get 2 lens caps. So that's one of the things that takes you being able to take your lens off and just rock the camera, makes it easier to install the cage as well. With this cage, you have one of the sides of where you would normally maybe have your peak design clip. You would have to take that out for this, but you install it on the left side of the A7S III. On the A7 III. On the A7S III, you install it on the right side. So it's also a great anchor point to know where you want your camera lined up, so that way when you screw it into the bottom, and you can use this really good tool that it comes with. I don't know if it'll actually go ahead and zoom in on, not my face. The A6100 is too good, man. So this is the tool you get. Now I am confused as to why they gave the bigger, what's that, a pentagon or not hexagon, but penta, right? The pentagon is a thicker pentagon shaped tool when you need a much thinner pentagon shaped tool for the side piece. Not saying you need the side piece to keep this intact, but it does add another anchor of security for the cage. Now, what's the next thing that we may want to put on this? Well, we might want to put on the handle top. Now, this is the handle top I already had, as you guys saw me in my first video assembling my rig. This is the handle top that basically came with the cage for the A7S III, but this is a universal cage for Small Rig's equipment, specifically NATO equipment. So you install this NATO tool right here up at the top. And when you install that, if it just blocks my eyes, I think it's in focus anyway. You install this can easily now just slide straight on. You press that little gold piece down, and then it slides right on just like that. And then all you gotta do is, line it up where you want it to, and then just screw it in place. And the beautiful thing about Small Rig's tools is they come with, almost each piece of tool comes with the tool. So with this handle, for instance, so now that I have it on like this is one way to rock it. You could also rock it the other way. I'm gonna see which one I like, because I did like it reversed, because I was using my mount that we'll get into it in a second. I had it slid down since I don't have like the Rosette or Ari installation method for my mount. But I'm gonna try it this way because it does have a secure mount up here. It just raises the mount a little bit. But as I was saying, it comes with its own tool right there in the side of the handle, just like the cage comes with one installed at the bottom. And all you gotta do is insert it into this here, and you can tighten that up. I don't want to scratch my cage. You can tighten that up so that way your handle won't move, and then all you gotta do is just install it back like so. Wow. Now, what's the next piece that we're looking at to install on this cage? Well, it depends. It depends on where you want to go with this. Now, most likely what I may do is I may install my mount. This is the mount that I currently use. I've showed it before. This mount is swivel. It, tilts and it pans, or pans and tilts rather. And the reason why I like the other way is because I had it slid in right here and it fit in like that, right? But then I was like, you know what? Why don't I use the even more secure method, because there's a stopper right here. So you slide in, now it's locked in like that. Then all I have to do is screw it down. Make sure it's facing me correctly. All I gotta do is screw it down. Now it's locked in place there. And if I want to, again, take the tool out and tighten it so that way this doesn't prove to be loose. Boom. And then you still have your swivel. And then all you have to do now is install your monitor. Well, guess what? We're gonna wait on the monitor. And we're going to install the handle next. So that way I have somewhere to grip the camera, right? So now you can easily rock it with this, your lens, and other accessories, no problem. It has a great grip because you also get extra, finger placement down here on the bottom as you would a camera grip. So you can rock it without an additional handle. Previously, I've showed you guys rocking, and it's over here somewhere, my remote trigger that I like using, the remote trigger. But then I realized, you know what? I don't want to use that all the time. I don't always have to remotely trigger, even though it does come in handy. But I also feel like I can't grip this side as well, and I can't take advantage of my thumb grip from my camera right here to better hold the camera even more. It's all about stability. So even though I could have it out here, it feels like I could use a remote trigger for maybe tripod use when I'm not really having to have or be as hands-on with the camera. So using my mini wooden handle right here, I've already lined it up to where I have it, just about, let's see, where was I at? Yeah, right here. And that way, when I install this, it's more flush. It's not overly leaning on the handle or the cage. They balance each other out in terms of being able to stand on its own. And so that's one of the things I also like. Now, would I like a bigger grip? Probably so. I wouldn't mind having that because handability, you know what I mean? But this also works. And then again, take your tool, tighten it up. Boom. And then, let's see, boom. And then again, tuck your tool away. Now the beautiful thing about the handle is the handle also comes with its own tool. So if you guys can't see that right there, there's a tool right in there. So all you gotta do is pull it out. You can use this because this is also thicker. So you would use this, tighten it up, and then when you're finished, go ahead and just reinstall it in the bottom right there. So now I have my handle on here. I have my camera cap currently placed on here because I haven't put my lens yet on. And now it's like, okay, so what do we want to do next? Well, before we get into gear, additional gear, by the way, this is the Godox remote. That was the Godox remote for the light that controls the light and white balance temperature. Now, what did I want to get into next? Backup accessories. One of the things I also invested in recently is backup accessories. What do I mean by that? Batteries. Now, I've already had this battery for a while. It's a backup battery to the a7 III because it's always good to have a backup battery. You don't know how long you'll be shooting for, and as long as you have a backup battery, you'll pretty much be good. And these new Z batteries that Sony has been using for the a7 III and forward pretty much are solid batteries. Now, I don't know if the Z batteries in the ZV-E10 or the ZV-1 for that matter, but this a7 III, a7S III, and FX3 all have the Z battery, and these batteries are phenomenal. You really only need one or two for these type of batteries, and they prove tremendous. Now again, in my previous assemblage of, if that's how you pronounce that word, assemblage of building the rig out the very first time I did, I exemplified the rail system, and the rail system is for long shoot days. If you're going on a shoot maybe 5+ hours and you don't know how much you'll be shooting, it's good to probably bring the rail system, because the rails allow you to, as I have not detached, but it allows you to attach a battery bank and a V-mount, or basically a V-mount battery, so that way you can run power straight to that, including the camera, and you'll keep things flowing that way. So that way, once that goes, once that dies, you still have battery in your camera, your monitor, and maybe your microphone if it needs external power to run the rest of the shoot day. Or if it's like a multi-day shoot, you have power there and you have additional batteries, plus of course you can charge overnight. So I bought 2 additional batteries for the A6100. I use the A6100 on shoot days, specifically if not for BTS, as a backup cam or a second cam to get multi-angle. And then I also have 2 new monitor backup batteries. Now, the one thing I don't like about these is that these are bigger than the original battery that came with my monitor, which we'll get into here very shortly. I have the CINE monitor right here. This baby is super solid. Now, I like it because it's very simple. It can do 4K output, and it's got a fan in it, and it's very bright. The problem I have with it is they placed all of the inputs at the bottom. So when you attach it to basically an external mount, like I'm about to with Small Rig, you block your power port. So if I was to use the rail system with my monitor, I would have to use the swivel mount that CINE provides, which is fine, but it does take up just a little bit more space. And ideally, you would like to just run power to it the way you want to. So hopefully if they do another version of this monitor, they move the power input from the bottom to like maybe one of the sides or the top, but preferably the sides. So if we want to, we can take this and install it right here. Very simple. You just attach this and then screw it in. Now, this is what I mean by it being really tall. So as you see, it's right there, and then all you gotta do is, I shouldn't, yeah, okay. So boom, all you gotta do is that, and then you got your monitor. It's still right there, your hands are fine, you can grip, you can move about, and it feels good. What I'm realizing is I really kind of liked it the other way, just because I felt like I had more, it was easier to grip the other way, but this isn't bad. I'm not mad at it. So far, as you guys can see, I got a monitor, I got my handle, I got the cage on here, my camera still sitting here waiting for the lens. And as you see, it's starting to get a little top heavy, a little front top heavy. So maybe it's a good time now to install the lens. Well, I just got a new lens. Yes, as you guys see by the kit here and what I'm currently shooting with. I'm currently shooting with the Sigma 16 on the A6100. That's where it honestly belongs, but until I get a full frame wide angle or ultra wide angle for my A7 III, I do have to use the A6100, the Sigma 16. So the lenses I currently have is the Power Zoom 16-50 APS-C from Sony, 3.5 to 5.6 variable aperture Power Zoom lens. I have my Sony full frame 50 1.8 soon, I won't say soon, but in the future to be replaced by that 50 1.2 G Master. You know what I'm saying? Anybody want to donate to the channel? And then I have my baby that I've constantly really only been shooting with. If I'm in a house, I may switch to the 50, but my baby is the Sony 85-18. I don't know if I'll replace that with the 85-14, because the 85-18 is spectacular. That's what I primarily shoot video with on set, and for video shoots, weddings, I always use my 85. I'm very comfortable with it, and I like it. The 50 is really good too, and as long as I don't need audio, the 50 is fine. But I just really like that 85 look, and if you can make it work, you can make it work, you know what I'm saying? But I needed a lens that was wider and more traditional. I got the Sony 35mm f1.8. Yes, this baby, it has an AM and FM switch, basically autofocus and manual focus switch, a focus hold or customizable button right next to it. And the reason why I got this is because since I primarily do video, of course I do photography, but I prefer video. I got this because this does better for video than the 35 f1.4 G Master lens. That lens is much better for photos. So in the future, again, I will be doubling up on the 35mm focal length and just use them separately. This holds focus a lot better, does not focus breathe like that, and or focus hunt for that matter, and it's very solid. Now, this is the first time experiencing an element maybe moving inside when you go up and down. Case in point, my Amazon deliverer decided to toss the packages when he delivered my lens, which made me very, very mad. But I've tried it out and it's worked, and I haven't had any issues. So maybe it's just this lens. I haven't experienced with the other lenses, but nonetheless, I'm very super psyched to be using this lens for my upcoming video shoots. And so we're going to install this lens onto this body, and as I exemplified before, this is the other end of the camera cap that I was talking about for the camera. I have it now for the 35mm f1.8 lens. So now we're going to go ahead and install this, and as we do, you probably want to take this bad boy off right here and then install this. Make sure you align those white dots up, and just like that, we now have the lens. And I like that the lens is compact and it complements the size of the A7 III. Now, I do feel like it's a little bit smaller given it's on the A7 III. It does really fit the A6100 size really well. And I like the G Master size because they're not that big. And I definitely love the 85. It looks fantastic on this camera, but I'm loving this 35mm. And of course, you have this beautiful opening right here. Not too wide, not too small. So I really like that. Now, for the sake of this video, I will leave this on for now because we're not finished. Now, what else did I get to improve this setup? Well, I got let me go ahead and take this off. I got me a step-up ring for a filter. Now, you guys know I have been using the Peter McKinnon variable ND filter 2 to 5 stop first edition. So I got this so that way I could attach this to use that lens filter or that ND filter, because you should be using filters for video, especially if you're outside, because it just helps with you know, controlling light so much better. So now that I have that installed on here, as you guys can see, it it does increase the size a little bit. It's kind of hard to find 55 to 82, and maybe I should have bought a filter at that filter diameter, but this is the only lens I'm probably gonna have at this size. Maybe the Sony 55-1.8 if I ever decide to jump on that. And I think even that one, I don't even think that's 55. That might be a 49mm. So maybe I could have got one at that size and then just stepped up from 49 to 55 and just have two different sizes. But I really want to stick with 82. It's so much easier because I can just buy filters at that size and use them with any lens that I get, or lens filters that I get. Well, I got a new filter. Yes, I got the Peter McKinnon variable ND filter 2 to 5 stop mist edition filter, and this is the edition 2, or I should say mist filter 2nd edition. So I'm glad I got me a new one. I like the new packaging for it. If I could just show the light off there. The package, well, I like the packaging because it was way more minimal than the first round. Like, I understand I would have been hyped too and probably would have went all out for a product like Peter did, but in comparison, you get a nice typical cardboard box with the filter in it that you can toss, and you're left with this bad boy looking right here. So what do I want to do with this? Well, I'm going to install this onto the lens, but what I'm going to do first is put this other adapter ring on, because I will get into this in a second, but let me put this on first because this is one of the products that I was really looking forward to get, that I really felt like was going to really step up my rig and help with anti-flaring and glaring while I'm out shooting. And that's why I'm really hyped for this, one of the last pieces of gear I'm going to show you. Now, the nice part about the new setup for the filters that Peter McKinnon and Polar Pro released is you screw the back side off like this, and then once you screw that off, it shows the back side. I wish I had one of my little spray tools, but essentially you take it, then you screw it on. just like so. And then once it's on, you push up and then you peel off as successfully as you can. It's a little bit hard, but now as you see, I have the Mist Edition filter on this lens that I can use with all my lenses except for, of course, the power zoom lens and the 50mm 1.8. And of course, what you can do is, you know, if you want to keep this on your lens, of course, which is going to be hard if you're going to use the last product I'm talking about. Now that we have this here, I can put that there. You can take the back side of this and screw it to the back side. So if you're out and you're not using this product that I'm talking about, that I'm going to bring up here soon, you put it on and it travels just like that. Just like that. Boom. Just like that. And then you just stick it back on the front and you're good to go. But that's not what we're going to do this time. What we're going to do now is show you another item, one of the items that I was really looking forward to, and I'm glad I've finally been able to get one. And that is a matte box. Specifically, Small Rig's mini matte box. I believe the number on this is 3196 for the matte box. I believe, because I don't want to get mixed up with the focus puller that they dropped, but I believe that's the number for this. So the beautiful thing about this, and the nice packaging Small Rig does for this right here, is, as you guys can see, the box looks amazing, by the way. And yes, this light works so much better. Goodness gracious. Is it comes with a bunch of adapters. So the adapter ring that you saw me put on the step-up ring is a 82 to 95 millimeter. The filter thread for the matte box is 95 millimeters, and they come with 67, 72, 77, 82, and then you can buy additional adapter rings for like 52, 55, 60, 58, I think, 62, 66, and an 86. I've never ran into lenses at the 86 millimeter, but that might be something else. And at first I bought that thinking that, oh yeah, you know, I'd use that. Maybe I wouldn't use the filter on my lens and just rock the matte box, you know, with the rig. And then I was like, and then when I did it, I was like, oh duh, I can't put the filter on because it's adapting from 55 and not from 82. So I returned those because I realized I probably wasn't going to be doing that. And even if I was, I'm fine with just using stepping up. So for me, I returned that, just kept the matte box, the mini matte box, and the adapter rings that it came with. Put this down here because that's a box I will be keeping. And so now you have this right here, and it's as simple as literally just installing it like this. And yes, you can install it with the filter already on. It's a lot easier that way. So now all you have to do is make sure it's balanced, and that's why I probably shouldn't have put the actual handle top piece on yet. But you know, once you put it on, all you do is take this and tighten it up, and then this will tighten the, and then all you gotta do is set it down and make sure it's even, and then tighten it down there, and voila, just like that, it's on the rig, just like that. Then you open the flap here, or the flag board as they would call it, and this is, then you tighten it back up, and now you have a nice small compact, it's relatively lightweight CINE rig, handheld CINE rig. You don't, and that's why I don't even need the cage, I mean the rail system for this, because I'm getting fairly good output in terms of batteries, and unless I absolutely need it, I have that as a backup, and that's why I'm keeping that for sure. I might even, unless I already have the 12-inch size rail rods, I might even get longer ones just to make it feel more. The only other reason why I would probably want to install the rail is because it's easy to hold the rails from the bottom, if I don't always want to hold it like this. But this is the set right here. This is the new updated CINE rig that I've been able to build, and it's largely thanks to Small Rig's and intuition in terms of products. I know Tilta's out there, there's a Condor Blue, although they don't really make things for the A7 III, although one could argue the A7 III and A7S III are very similar in size. But if you have an A7S III or FX3, Condor Blue is definitely helping out with that kind of camera, and they seem like they're really focused more on more cinema based or cinema like cameras. And the A7 III is a very good hybrid. It's probably one of the best hybrids you're going to come across in terms of photo and video. So for those reasons, it kind of lacks love in the cinema realm. But Small Rig, always thinking about them and thinking about them from the beginning, has these tools, or at least to start off with the cage, to really get you going somewhere. And so with that being said, let's install everything else. Now, the other item that will be installed on here is my video mic. I don't have the Video Mic Pro Plus yet. I hope to get that here soon. But for now usually this mic is hanging from up here. It's usually installed right here, right out of frame. You can't see it. So when I need it, of course, the beautiful thing about this mini handheld is you can install it right here via cold shoe mount. So that's what we're gonna do right now, is install it just like so, and then twist it down. Boom, just like that. Make sure it's nice and tight. And right there, you have your microphone to capture audio when you need it. You got your matte box to help with anti-flare and glare, so that way you get a very pristine and clean look or shot that you're going for. You have your filter on there, so when you're outside, you can control light a lot better. Now, of course, being inside, you may have to, mess with it, but it's safe to say, and that's the other beautiful thing about this new second edition filter, both for the mist edition and regular edition, is that the stops are hard clicks. So it hard clicks between 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and 4 and 5. I would say it's probably safe to hang around the higher end of the 2 stop going to the 3rd stop. That way you really don't have to adjust your ND filter like that anymore. And then of course, if you don't use the matte box, you can use the focus puller that Small Rig recently released and actually attach that to the ND filter to pull your ND filter as opposed to your focus or your aperture. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, with the power for the mic, just undo the flap. And that's one thing I'm glad that they updated on other cameras, is flappiness for all the inputs on the A7 III. Thank you. And just install it just like that. And boom, just like that, is in there. No problem, in the side of the camera right there, if you guys can see. Now we're gonna attach the monitor focus, the HDMI input, which is a HDMI to micro HDMI, and then HDMI in up here. Boom. And then the beautiful thing about this handle is there's a pass-through. So that way you can kind of control the tangleness. You can pass it through right here. So if you guys can see that, you can pass it through right here. And once you do, you're gonna do the flap for the HDMI area, pull it through, and then just boom, just like that. Now, one of the things I will be getting soon is an HDMI clamp from Small Rig to attach to this, so that way it clamps the HDMI, so that way there's no worries there in terms of any looseness or pulling of the HDMI plug, so that way there's no issues capturing my footage or seeing my footage via my CINE monitor. And this is it. Oh, well, technically if I what I need to do is put this big old battery in the back of the monitor, and this is where the weight really comes in, is the battery for the monitor. But essentially, boom, boom, and boom, there you go. Just like that, you have it. And as you guys can see, that little red light shows that there's power running to the monitor. And this is the setup right here. And it's a lot easier, of course, to hold via the handle right here. Maybe I could get one that's similar on this side and not use the more luxurious, bulky, remote trigger. I would like to get the remote trigger top handle for this, because I find that to be better. And I probably will get that RE style monitor mount. That way it can extend this way and kind of lower my monitor placement, so that way it's not so high. And then that, of course, grants me a little more room for my thumb to hold up here. But I'm not mad at this at all. It's not as bad as I'm really making it. And this is it right here. This is the rig in style right here. I will be using this shortly. I have a gig coming up with a nonprofit, so I'm excited about that. But I've been able to really invest in my career here, and you know, thanks to you guys watching the videos, supporting the channel, donating to the channel. Again, you guys helped with the Z Flip last year, and of course you guys want to help with the Z Flip 3, you know what I'm saying, or the Galaxy Watch 4, Z Fold 2, Cine gear, you know what I'm saying, cameras. You guys want to, of course, help the channel. One, of course, you can reach out and just say you're sending something. Two, I have links down below as to how you can support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, and the like. And then, of course, watching the videos, liking the videos. That helps YouTube understand that there's people that are enjoying the videos. Subscribing to the channel, that also lets YouTube know and other brands know that, oh, people appreciate what he's saying about products, or they're interested in his perspective. And then, of course, commenting on the videos as we asked prior to. Any other tips and tricks, gear, accessories, advice, leave it down in the comment section below. That again helps YouTube and its algorithm help my videos reach more people. So again, appreciate you guys, and looking forward to doing more stuff like this, or even update videos. And whether or not I do a full, you know, reassembling of the rig, just swapping out new pieces, so that way you guys can see and have fun with me as we explore new realms of videography, photography, and tech. But again, your man Versatile is signing out, and until the next video.